for entertainment purposes only, a question from Chinese Disco Babe. And she wants to know what is in her current career over the next 3 months. As I started shuffling this career deck, a few cards popped out, so we're just going to start with those cards and draw a few more. I'm sorry I come on late, but it always seems to happen this way. I get ready to go live, and then my elderly mother wants to go take a walk, and so she can't walk by herself because she might fall down. She's 86. So then I just have to go, and which, of course, that's my primary duty, is caregiver. So then it always ends up delaying the start of these live streams. So if you've ever wondered why or I never start on time, well, that's why I never start on time. But we are starting here with a question from Chinese Disco Babe, and what is in my current career for the next 3 months. And so it starts out with these two cards that just popped out right before I turned the camera on, and it is Make It Work and Flashback. The flashback, which is in the reverse form, but flashback. So people from the past return, and you may work with a previous coworker or take back an old job. You're getting a second chance. And so in the next 3 months, Chinese Disco Baby, got to look for opportunities that may be related to old jobs. But overall, you need to make whatever you're doing, you got to make it work. You have to make it work for you. You can't be looking forward to finding another job because there are things that you need to learn about these ones that you are currently working. Now, if they fire you, of course, then you look for a new job, or something from the past will pop up and then you go back to there. Even though it may not be a comfortable place to be, you still need to find a way to make it work. Because you have all the tools that you need in order to be successful. But that's what I got from this. And let us see here. What do we got? Okay, I wonder if the sound... Is the sound working on this thing? Yeah, it's working. Oh. Saved by Grace, good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm on for today. Did anybody else pop in? No, it's just the people who are looking in. Sound work. Great. The sound is working. All right. I'm going to just throw out a couple other cards for you. Maybe, yeah, let's just do this one here and then the one on the bottom and see what else is there. This is for Chinese Disco Babe. And so, illumination. So, again, like this one, flashback, something hidden is going to come out to light. So, like, this is like a repeat of this idea and then looking. And so it is okay to look for better work to be. So it is saying if you're going to look for better work, you want to be really on the down low, be really secretive, and do not let your current employer know you are seeking other work, because you may end up without a job. And so the things that we got going on, but mainly is try to make it work. But if there's just something that's not working, be very, very careful, very secretive. Don't let anybody know that you are looking, if you are looking for new work. And then these other two cards is something hidden may pop back up into place, and it just might be a past job, the opportunity from a past job. All right, I hope that helps. So who else do we have in the chat here? We have Saved by Grace, and Moon Honey. Oh, you know what? I have tomorrow. I'm getting a tooth removed tomorrow, and that's going to take me about 10 days to recover from that. So I don't know how much live streaming I'm going to be doing, especially not in the first 4 or 5 days. And of course, I'll be on like, whatever. Hey, I just finished. I just finished you off there. And so what I got for you, Chinese Disco Babe, was essentially the ideas. I'll just recap it for you. Um, you need to make it work. Make it work. Whatever you do, you got to try to make it work. You may have some tendencies to be dissatisfied with your work, but because of the war, because of all these things that are going on, you got to try to figure out how to make your job work. However, there's these other things that happen here is that an opportunity from a past job may come to light. So it's like something hidden coming into view, a hidden opportunity may be coming your way. And then, but if you are looking for work, Chinese Disco Babe, you want to make sure that you do it on the down low, that your current employer never find out about it. Don't tell anybody that you work with. Don't tell anybody that you're looking for work, because that could filter back to your current employer, and you might end up sabotaging your job, and then you're going to be out of a job, and so you don't really want to do that. So as I was saying, I wanted to talk about another experience that I had before any other new questions come in. And so my new protocol for asking questions is because I added a service, a moderation service called Nightbot, and there it is. And so if you are asking a question, start it with 2 question marks at the front of it and 2 question marks at the end of it, and start your question off that way, because the Nightbot does have timeout procedures, and so if you use all caps, then it'll see that as a spamming technique, and then it might end up timing you out. Welcome, Trisha. And so I wanted to talk about an experience that happened this last week, and I was feeling all very disconnected and everything. And on Friday afternoon, in my Surrender live stream, there was a person, Sculpted Slug, and that was their channel name. They asked a question, and the question was, what path am I supposed to be on? Am I a light worker or a messenger? So I spun out a page number with the tops, and the page number went to this page over here, and I saved it. It was a reading from the book of Genesis, and it was all about God having an argument with Abraham about Sodom and Gomorrah, and Yahweh was tasking Abraham to go to Sodom and Gomorrah and tell them the bad news, that if they didn't get their life in order into tip-top shape, that Yahweh, the warrior God, would come and destroy those cities. Now, I looked at that and I think it just doesn't quite. I didn't feel like, it had anything to do with the person's question. But then, like, before I went to bed early in the morning, the answer came to me, and then I was like, oh, why don't you look at the characters? What role are the characters playing? And the characters Abraham was playing the role of a messenger and sculpted Slug's question. I did a short on this. I don't know if Sculpted Slug saw the short or anything like that, but I'm hoping that that person comes in and returns again. But the answer to her question was messenger. And right in front of me all along was the answer to that question, and it was right on that page. Right on that page. And when I first looked at it, I didn't think that it had anything to do with anything. So you have a question. All right, Moon Honey. Okay, I'm only on for a short time today because I have some chores and stuff I need to do. And, like, some really important chores. So Moon Honey has a question. All right, great. Moon Honey. Honey Moon. All right. So you have been So you have and saved by grace that question too. Okay, good. We will write down the questions. We'll probably only have enough time for like 3 questions today. I've already done 1 question. That makes 4. Saved by grace. And so the energy of today is at 10/1. And it's funny, when I did my pre-things, that was the same number that I caught up with, like at 10:10. So the angel number for today, this week, is 10:10. 531 2026, and so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 1 plus 9 is 10, okay? 5, 31, 20, 26. So it's like, you live in 1010, yeah. So today, and then also the message of today is ascend into yourself, or ascend into creation. So to become you. In order to become you, you ascend into yourself. You ascend into your created self. All right, so we have, when will Chuck reach out? True feelings. Well, saved by grace, chances are Chuck doesn't even know what he feels. If he is a typical man, okay, you want guidance on spiritual gifts. Moon Honey, give me a page number. For on spiritual, I need a page number between 4 and 104, please. 4 and 104. So page number between 4 and 104. Let's see what if in 86. Let us see what Khalil Gibran has to say about your spiritual gifts and how you can. All right. So saved by grace, so he knows what his feelings are. Okay, all right. I don't know how well I can come up with how soon, or when, or a timeline, but we'll see what we can do here. All right. Okay, let's start by clearing the air. 10 and 1, so it's either 1 or 10. Let's just do 10. Mother Mary, Moon Honey has a question. She has been working on her spiritual gifts of being a medium, a psychic, and she's seeking guidance on how, just guidance in general. Help us to find some truth, something that she can go by on page 86 in Khalil Gibran's book, The Prophet. But let's take a look at the numbers 8 and 6. So we look at the manifest in abundance, ABU, the abundance of love, harmony, just 86 itself. And then we look at 8 plus 6 together is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. So we're looking at a change, a challenge. Change, challenge, freedom. And maybe if we look at the whole idea of ascending into yourself, that maybe that message is for you, Moon Honey, that when I did my card draw today, and these are the cards I chose. This is for my own devotion. I'm not, it's based upon the page number that I spun out. That we start here with a drink of water that actually quenches your thirst for knowledge, for gnosis. Now, if I've been thinking a lot about stuff, and I think that, we're entering into a new spiritual age. And I feel that spiritual age that we're entering into is the age of gnosis, or knowing, or an age of mysticism, and how I think that the church will change over the course of the next 100 years. And we have, prior 2,000 years ago, when we shifted from into the age of Pisces. What was the age before that? I don't know, because I'm not an astrology person. We were in whatever the age was before, and we went into the age of Pisces, the age of the fish. But what, from the Judeo-Christian world, what ended was the sacrificial system of atonement. What ended was the burnt offerings, the slaughter of innocent animals in order for the forgiveness of sins. And we entered into a new era of kingdom of God within, but that kingdom of God within has not been manifested yet. And so my sense is that this next age that we're going in is the end of church institution, and the beginning of church gnosis. So a sense of not necessarily church anymore, but a sense of gnosis, the knowing. I'm not going to say Gnostic. It could be Gnostic. It could be a whole continuation of all the religions as we have had them, but them to be transformed and to made anew. Transformed and made anew in a new star to light the way, a new knowledge to come into our reality, and then birthed into this new reality is a new a new way of being, a new way of expressing spirit in the world. And that's kind of what I see in this as far as in today's card draw for here. And so we have this sense of your goddess realization or father and mother. And if I look at, let's say, Elaine Pagels. Elaine Pagels is, she has done a lot of scholarship on Gnosticism and Elaine Pagels. And one of the things that, and I talked about this just the other day, about having a spiritual mother and a spiritual father, and it came directly from Elaine Pagels' scholarship on the Gnostics, And so some of the things that the Gnostics believed is that we have biological parents and we have spiritual parents. And so if we take a look at the Jesus metaphor, the Jesus mythology, and that Jesus had biological parents, Mary and some other father, and you have God the Father and God the Mother. And God the Mother is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, God the Mother. And so in this sense of this Gnostic sense of having a goddess energy and a God energy, if you're looking at, then if you want to go look at hierarchies and everything else that there is in our realm, you have our realm being governed by a god and a goddess. A god and a goddess, a God the Father and a God the Mother. But above that, there is El Elyon, the God Most High, the monad, the creator, the source, the source of everything. And that's sort of more aloof. Or if you look at how many of the Enlightenment thinkers thought of that being a distant thing, a force that started the universe and put the laws of the universe in play, and then it just boom, it went out and went forth. And so that is source consciousness, source God, source of all. There's that, but then there are these hierarchies. There's all these other beings, and so maybe that, and we go forward, that maybe we go into a point of time where we do not need even the concept of God and goddess. We do not need God the Father and God the Mother. We need just to know that we can connect directly to source consciousness because the kingdom of God is within us. Or the source is within us because we were born from it, and so forth. And so that is that. Okay. All right. So that is, I'm going to get off my soapbox here, and we're going to go on to page 86. Yes, we are the cosmos because the cosmos is in us. Page 86, and see where we are at. So I lost everybody in that. I can see that. There were more people looking in, but now it's just the three of us, Moon Honey and Saved by Grace and myself. And that's it. And that's all right. It is a Sunday afternoon after all. All right, so here you are, Moon Honey. For in adoration you cannot fly higher than their hopes, nor humble yourself lower than their despair. And if you would know God, be not therefore a solver of riddles. Rather, look about yourself and see, and you shall see him, her, playing with their children, with your children. And look into space, you shall see him, her, walking in the cloud, out with outstretched arms in the lightning and descending in rain. You shall see him, her, smiling in flowers, then rising and waving her hands in trees. So in this sense, my initial look here for you in guidance is that you need to spend more time in nature, spend more time praising thankfulness to your Creator, to ascend into yourself in the natural world, listening to the natural world, wind, rain, birds, the grasses, the trees, the animals. For in adoration you cannot fly higher than their hopes, nor humble yourself lower than your despair, your hopes, your dreams. To find some equilibrium point, Moon Honey, in between your hopes and your despair. To not be governed by your despair, nor governed by your dreams. When you are off lofty in the sky, it's kind of hard to be in the world. To be in the world if you are spending your time in your daydreams. Welcome, Mr. K. You're welcome, Saved by Grace. So that's, and that's the message. Of course, I've sent that message many times, is about being in the natural world, being in the world, being in creation, acknowledging that, being in it, listening for. So you're thinking in being a medium, Moon Honey, it means that you need to really work on listening. Become an ear. You're becoming an ear. You're listening to internal forces. You're listening to the wind. You're listening to the trees. What do the trees say? What do the animals say? What does your pets say? Your furry friends, if you have them. So you live your mysticism. Yeah, that reminds me of a poem, Saved by Grace, with Big Papa E, and he's talking about, I know he's like a teenager and writing a poem to a girl, like instead of saying love, he says live, I live you. And then you decide that that's better because it's more powerful, that I live you. I live you. I live you. I like that. Yeah. So I'm going to take it. I live your mysticism. I love that. Saved by Grace, because living that gnosis, living the gnosis, living it, living the knowledge, living knowledge. I live this. And so this is my and my advice, and came from to you, Moon Honey, came from Grace. Live it. Live it. Live nature. Don't fly high. Don't fly low. But live in between those two poles. Love is so overused today anyway, because love is when we are a lot of times, because I don't know, I have not sought after those meditative states of what, opening up your crown and all that, because what they do say is that you open up your crown, then that's when you experience this divine love. But I've experienced that involuntarily a few times in my life, but I think most of the times we live love by doing love. We're doing those things by helping your neighbors, by helping your friends, by living in nature. Someplace in between your dreams in the sky and your despair in the ground. To live someplace in that zone. Someplace in that zone. My chat here on my phone is stuck about at the fourth one, so I only have the chat as far as the other device is concerned. So that's my advice. My advice to the advice to Moon Honey is about living in between, living your life in nature and making sure that you are listening, spending your time listening. 8 plus 6 is what? 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. 1 plus 4 is 5. And we're looking at that. Let's just take a look at the fifth. Let's take a look at the fifth one of these cards in your letter 5. And then we'll go move on to Saved by Grace. Are you still here, Moon Honey? Or did I lose you here? I get too distracted. And oh wait, Warren Hay. It was someone else had this one yesterday or Friday, I guess it was. And so your letter is the fifth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. To think about that, contemplate that, and let's take a read of that. So the fifth level letter is Hey, and I was talking about the crown. So in between the crown and wisdom, to spend your time in between these two places, to develop your crown and develop your wisdom. On the Tree of Life. So Moon Honey. Oh, let's move Chinese Disco Babes question out, because we're actually in Moon Honey. There we go. And 5, I'll just read this again. The letter Hey connects Monachil 7777, welcome. The letter Hey connects between the spears of Keter, crown, and Chokmah, wisdom, and is associated with the fire element. Hey will help you become renowned, charismatic, and demonstrate a strong presence by emphasizing the feminine aspects of your personality, applying the wisdom, intelligence, gentleness, lightness, and grace to inspire love and harmony. Hey will strengthen you in the areas of fertility and reproduction, stimulate regeneration, creativity, prosperity, and effortless success and will help you become a vessel for receiving and transferring abundance. This letter is useful for improving speech and communication, to pull out from difficult situations gracefully and repair injustices. Good times for new beginnings and fulfillment of aspirations for the month of Aries. Okay, and there we have it. This is for you, Moon Honey. Hey, to think about the letter hey. And did the stuff I say here, be grounded, listen, and allow. Yes, be grounded and listen, because you are in a sense that you want to. Being a medium is also about listening, listening to things that are very subtle, and then you have to have wisdom to discernment to know, are you listening to yourself? Is it your own self speaking? And then there was some place, and I saw it only once in like one of those Gnostic Gospels, about the imagination and the development of your imagination, because that's actually, in that sense, that's where you connect to these other realms, is through your imagination, through your creativity, Today is Trinity Sunday. Today's Trinity Sunday. It's a dream, yes. Yes, it's like a dream. But on that page it said to not let your dreams carry you away, because then you'll lose sight. But also at the same time, do not let your despair suck you down into the earth, because then you, So in between those two spheres, between the loftiness of your dreams, and to stay and between the spheres of we all feel despair, but not to let. I guess you might look at it as if you get kind of like bipolar in how you are thinking, too high, and then you go kind of like crazy inside when you're too high, or when you're too low, then you go crazy inside. So you kind of want to have the discernment to be in between, to pull you out of despair and to take you down from those manic highs. Yeah. Thomas loved imagination in the third eye. It was the other Thomas too, not the Thomas Gospel, but it was the other. Um, there were other books on Thomas as well. More of an allowance, yes. It's saying don't grab. Don't yes, exactly. That's kind of what it's saying. Kind of being in between those two places. But mainly, it's the whole. You have your exercises that you're doing, and what Khalil Gibran said is to spend more time in nature and out in the natural world, listening to what the consciousness of trees are, what the consciousness of grass is, what the consciousness of the birds are. You're listening to all of these things that are in our environment, and that they will teach you how to listen to your own voice and to have the discernment to know what voice is which. Okay, all right, let's go move on to Grace's question. I'm just going to use 10 and 1. I'm going to use the one hole now. Mother Mary. Grace has a question. She wants to know about her fellow Chuck. She's waiting for Chuck to reach out to her and tell her what it is that he is feeling about their situation, one way or the other. I don't know if we can get at when, but we can ask about will. Will Chuck reach out to me? Will Chuck communicate his true feelings? And so he's your twin flame, your other half. Will he? Or is it such a thing, Grace, that one meeting you had was the only one you're going to get? Because sometimes that's the way it is with these twin flames. They come into our lives. They come into our lives and they offer a course correction, and then they leave as soon as they are there. Transfer information and then move on to the next person. So you talk all the time. Yes, Tiki, you can put your question in question marks, so I know which ones are which. All right. When will he? So you talk all the time. Okay. So he's about to propose, but so yeah. He told that. Well, he wants to make it a surprise then. Will he? Okay, well, that's what we're going to ask. The question, will he? Now, let's just mix and match these cards up for you here. Okay. These cards are really thick. They're hard to shuffle. Thick cards are hard to shuffle. Maybe by July I'll be in my new space. I'm going to probably try to take that time that I have while my mouth is healing up from the tooth extraction to clean up my new studio space. All right, Grace. You can tell me when to stop shuffling. When do I stop shuffling? Oh, looks like a card just popped out. Two cards popped out. So once you stop my shuffle for the final card in your reading, sending me healing, yeah. Well, it's my, I'm not going to talk about me. We're on you. I don't want to get distracted by talking about me. And we're looking for one more card, saved by grace. If you want to, if you get a feeling on when you want me to stop shuffling, I'll stop shuffling. Otherwise, I will choose your card for you. Okay, I'm going to do that one there. So what you're looking at here, and this one popped out on the side. And so we're going to leave that one on the side here. I'm going to take this one off the bottom, and that is kind of what you got here. So will he? Within the framework of this type of a reading that I have, but I have these other cards. Grace, he may never come out and communicate his true feelings to you. But, and it just may be, Grace, that he doesn't know what he feels. And that was my first sense, was that he doesn't really know what he feels. Being that he's a man, his true feeling, now maybe he wants to marry you. And that's probably is true. And that's, you got this sense of harmony. He's looking for harmony. He's looking for harmony. He's looking for a family. He's looking for the fulfillment of a dream. But at the same time, he seeks clarity. He's trying to clarify what it is that he feels. Now, he feels wonderful when he's with you. He feels this thing, but what are his true feelings? He needs to let go. And we think of this sense of a catharsis for clarity. I'm not so sure that he knows what he feels. That's what my initial thought about this was. Yes, he may be overwhelmed by things in his life. Yes, he may be going around and talking about how he plans to propose to you. Yes. In all likelihood, Grace, he has a bit of a generosity of his spirit, but then there's also this, an inequality. And so is going between these two spheres of generosity and inequality, or a difference in a power dynamics. In all likelihood, Grace, Chuck will demonstrate how he feels through his actions, and he may never tell you with his words. You have to come into a realization that you need him to tell you what he feels. You need him to do that, but he may not be capable of doing that. Yeah. So I just think that I just go by male nature, because men men rarely know what they feel. Younger men, and then because it's not something that they allow themselves, that, and that you're looking, it's sort of a acculturation, because you have to do a job whether you want to or not. And so if you are into this place where you're a family. And he comes into a provider role, for a protector role, being a man who is a provider and protector. And if that's the role he wants to play, oftentimes those jobs are very unpleasant. Those jobs are filled with anxiety. Anxiety without a way out. Anxiety without an outlet. And you keep that anxiety into yourself. You don't tell your partner that that you are anxious. It's like working for a good employer will not tell you they're going broke. They will not lay that pressure on you that they're going broke, or that they don't have enough money to pay themselves and they barely have enough money to pay their payroll. They're not going to tell you that information. They ain't going to tell you. That is a good protector. That's a good provider. It's one who doesn't tell you those things. Doesn't want you to be worried and anxious about what's going on in the life. So that protector is going to protect you from those feelings. But being a protector, it also means he doesn't know what he feels. Because his time is spent protecting others from the world around. And then you look at your job. You have to do this job. You have to provide. You do your job, and 9 times out of 10, he probably will hate his job. And how do you do a job that you hate? Well, you do a job that you hate by burying down down inside yourself that you hate your damn job. And you just get up in the morning, you go, you do what you're supposed to do, and then you clock out and you come home, and then you have a short bit of time where you live your life. Kind of in between 2 different spheres. So when will he reach out and tell you his true feelings? Well, you may end up having to wait 10, 20 years, because it might take him 10, 20 years to figure it out for himself. And one of the things is maybe you keep pushing. And maybe you end up pushing him away. Because he wants to express his feelings through his actions. Expressing love through action. And not love through words. So if you're out on a date with him, you're out doing something, and he does something nice for you, brings you flowers, that's a sign that he loves you. Take it as a sign that he loves you. If you find out, he opened up a bank account for me and he started depositing money into it, take that as a sign that he loves you. Look at his actions. What does his actions say? Read his actions. Don't listen to his words. Does that help any? Yeah. Yes. So, Grace, when I was younger, and when a girl would ask me, what do I feel? These girls, they would get super pissed off when you came back 2 weeks later with like, fine, I guess. And so when people ask me, how do you feel? I don't know. Why don't you tell me? Generally, that's how I respond to that question. I respond to the question when they ask me, how are you doing? I said, I don't know. Why don't you tell me how I'm doing? It sounds kind of rude. It sounds like you're being snarky, but it generally, I don't want to answer the question. So I shut people down. That's me. That's how I behave. That's how I behave in this world. So does that make any sense? Yes. Okay. All right. So trust your eyes and just listen. Listen. Listen with your eyes. Listen with how he behaves. His behaviors are a mirror of his emotions. His behaviors will telegraph what he feels before he even knows it himself. Before he even knows it himself. Okay? All right. His language is different than yours. Exactly. His language is different than yours. He's a man. Men have a different language. They there's the reminder. I got the tooth extraction tomorrow, 1 p.m. Yeah, a different language. And if you look at, let's say, many people say that Christianity is a religion by men for men, and if you want to look at it that way, it probably is true. And if you look at the Gospels, when Jesus talks about love, he's talking about actions. He's not talking about words. He's talking about actions. You have that Mary and that Martha story in John, in the Gospel of John, and there's Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus, and Martha is busying around preparing the house because Lazarus is coming or somebody's coming and they're going to have this party. And Martha gets, what should you look for? Okay. What should, and Martha gets all bent out of shape because Mary is sitting there at Jesus' feet, sort of basking in the glow, and she goes to Jesus and says, Jesus, can you tell my lazy sister to get up off her arse and help me with these things? And Jesus responds by saying, well, Martha, it's something that you are doing what you are doing, and she's doing what she must do. She is doing exactly what she must do. And so you have these two different experiences within life. You have those who do, and you have those who are sitting there being, and those who are doing. And sometimes we're both of those things. But men, by and large, are doers. They are trained from birth to be doers, to do things, to work with their hands. They're trained to be outside of the self, not inside. And so your Mary experience is that of the inner experience of that. When I was starting this thing out of this gnosis, and your gnosis is the inner thing. It's the Mary experience. It's the just sitting there under a tree, basking in the glory of creation. And your Martha experience is that where you are sitting around, where you're giving of yourself, going to, like giving yourself to soup kitchens. You're giving your time. You're giving of your time for others, for other people. And so you're looking at difference between a masculine and a feminine experience. If we want to boil it down to that, if you look at you look at a tarot card, like the Hierophant is male, The high priestess is female. And the female, in that sense, the magician is male. The priestess is female. The magician is doing something. The high priestess is doing something in a more inner way, sitting on her throne under the moon, and then between the pillars of knowledge. Between the pillars of knowledge. Is Mark still here? I think that Tiki, he erased his, but I'm going to move on to Mr. K. And the question being is, what should I look for on adventure? On an adventure. Mr. K, I need a page number between 4 and 104, please. A page number between 4 and 104. But anyway, his love language is different than yours. Exactly, Miss Grace. 115, okay. We're looking at 531-2026. All right. All right. There we go. All right. Thank you, guys. And I'm going to go on to it. I'll do this one last, and then I'm going to go do some other things. My regular duties. Maybe I'll sit on the lawn more. Yes, you need to be patient with him. Be patient. Hey, Sculpted Slug, did you get my message? Did you get my message? I talked about you earlier today, but I did a short video just for you. Okay, good. So that was all about you needing to be a messenger and your answer. And I was just absolutely blown away, Sculpted Slug. I was blown away when it came to me, because it was like, oh my gosh, I was like, it was speaking to me. It was speaking to me. Hold on, Mr. K. The book only goes up to page 104. Yeah, I don't often get it, because sometimes I don't get it at first. It just teaches me. Spirit is teaching me that I need to listen better. Okay, 54, not 115. 54. All right. So we're looking at. So what you're looking at with just the numbers. So that even with that, Sodom and Gomorrah of then there is a interpretive strategy. I occasionally tune into Aaron Abeki, the Jesus Way. I don't know about him. I would love to have him on my other channel, but he's sitting there like he's a big channel. There's all these people that I'd like to talk to, but okay, we'll see you later. I'm hoping that I will be able to, that I'll be feeling up to coming back on next Sunday, but I don't know. I have to think about when the last time I got a tooth extracted, how long it took me to recover from it. I mean, that tooth came out in like 3 different pieces. Like sheared off at the gum line, and then this one is probably It's one of my molars. It's probably, hopefully it's better. Well, of course I will. Like I'm not because it's like I don't come on when I have migraines. Um, and I'm certainly not going to come on when you know when you're on some kind of a pain medication too. Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, about listening, and I have to learn how to listen better, and I also need to start studying tarot again. Uh, yeah, you understand migraines, yeah, yeah. But I didn't realize that I didn't realize your gender until I looked at the. Not that it really matters. I looked at your channel, and what did my chat run off to? Here we go. Yeah. All right, Mr. K. Let's go on to you. I'm running low on time, and I got to clean that closet out. I mean, I've been putting that thing off for ages. It's like I need to. I need a wife. That's what I need. Is that what I need? A wife? Do I need a wife? that's I, yeah. That's what I think that maybe I don't need a wife. Some people would say I need a wife, but let's go to page 54. Clear the air. Mr. K is laughing when I just said that I need a wife, but maybe I don't know if I need. Maybe I need a servant. That's what I need. I need a servant. A servant. All right. I see. You're both gender. Yeah. Well, Sculptus Slug. I'm kind of old fashioned, and when it comes to I when they ask you those questions about how do you identify, I really just don't want to answer those questions. And I was like forced to answer those questions the other day on some government forum, and I think, why do they need to know this information? I mean, it's like the whole thing of what are you? You have to, like, oh, are you a white person? Are you an Indian? This or that? And so I don't want to answer that question either. I generally, when I come up to those forms and it has like color or skin, I scratch them all out and I just put American down. I'm an American, and that's all I want to be labeled as an American. You know, I don't want to be identified by a color. I want to be. This is my country of birth. My people have been here for 400 years. Can I just call myself an American? Can't you just leave it at that? I'm an American, and just leave it at American. And that's the way I like it. But you don't get that option to do that, and then of course when you do that, I don't know. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now, and we're gonna go on to Mr. K's question. All right. Welcome, and thank you for popping in, Scope the Slug. And I'm glad that you did, and I'm glad that you got your answer. Mother Mary, Mr. K has a question. He's going on an adventure soon to do some service work someplace that he's never been before, and wants to know what to look out for. Help us to illuminate through page 54 on Khalil Gibran's book, The Prophet If there's any words there that will help. Page 54 doesn't have very many words on it. The light that lingers becomes a shadow to another light, and thus your freedom, when it loses its fetters, becomes itself the fetterer of a great freedom. Huh. So it's just telling you that you need to be free. You need to... What does fetters mean? What does that word mean? Fetters. Other than the last name of the guy who married the woman that I wanted to marry. All right. Fetter. What does that mean? Definition. Fetter. It's a chain or shackle used to restrain a person. So what it's telling you here, Mr. K, is that you need to cast off your shackles on your adventure and just be free. Be free to be free and not shackled to your expectations. When you get on the plane, when you touch down in that new place you're going to be at, you'll get your job. Your child will get their job. Your wife will get her job. The expectations, you'll have your expectations for the things that you will be doing, but then beyond those expectations, it's asking you to cut the shackles off your hands and your feet and be free to be yourself for a short time. Be free to be yourself. Okay, so we got that. Let's take a look at 9. I'm going to look at the 9th card here. All right, number 9. Let's see if there's some words on 9 here. This doesn't go up to number 54. We've got 5 and 4, 9. So you have hungry. Make sure you eat a lot. Eat a lot. We have spirit. Listening to your spirit. Take chances. Take chances. Take chances. So the words that are popping out are hungry, chance, and I'm going to write down manifest. I'm going to manifest freedom. That was from the other page, freedom. Band. Music. Enjoy any music that is there. You're learning to say yes more often. So we're looking at band. Well, that's actually, you need to also be the boss of your life, too. Be the boss of your life for a short time. When your job is done for the day and you have your free time, when you have free time, be the boss. Give yourself permission to be the author of your own story. Give yourself permission to be the author of your own story. Be part of a band, an ensemble. Go look around, have fun, eat, and because you're hungry for this to be free, be a free spirit. A free spirit. Manifest freedom, be a free spirit. So free spirit. All right. Getting hungry. Well, that's all I have. I'm going to go, does that help? Just some words to think by. Hungry. Take chances. Be free. Be a free spirit. All right. That helps. Now, there was that other guy who came in and asked a question and then he ran. And so I'm just going to, go. I'm sure he's not here anymore, but that's okay. We're just, for the sake of practice, we will. I'm just gonna do what is Darwin's feelings for Mark? What is that? What is Darwin's feelings for Mark? We're gonna just go over to this one. This is for Mark. I know Mark is not still here, but nevertheless, we will, for the sake of practice sake, we will answer the question. We got some cards that popped out. You can see his channel name up there, but that's okay. Ran out on the question. I do remember him asking that question before, or him or her. I wonder if it is him or her. Let's go take a look, though. They're gone all the way. Okay. A card off the bottom. One in the middle. Okay. So no more looking at the bottom. What are their feelings for each other? Sadness. Judgment. So what does Mark feels for you? Darwin feels sorrow. He feels sadness. Maybe Darwin's a female. I don't know. Darwin feels sadness. Feels sorrow. And Darwin feels judgment. Feels a sense of judgment over past actions, sadness and judgment. But at the same time, Darwin is trying to master their feelings, master how they feel about the situation, because in the end, there are rewards. There are rewards for the mastery of one's feelings. But I don't necessarily think that there is any romance here. Maybe a little bit of romance. There's a lot of work. There's sadness. So the energies here, Mark, about Darwin is, I don't necessarily feel that there is any romance, love going on, but I think it's more like conquest energies, mastery energy, conquest, work, conquest, manipulation, dare I say, but also a sense of judgment, taking a look at past actions and judging those actions, making judgments, sadness, because of maybe some past thing that has happened, and being sad about that, about their own life, maybe something that you did. I don't know. So if you're still there, Mark, this is what I got for you. Sorrow, judgment, smugness, celebration, desire, and mastery and work. So a sense of working on this situation and trying to make it work and trying to craft it into something. And the looking at past actions and past feelings, but this sense of everything that's sort of it swinging between these two spears of sorrow and celebration, sorrow and smugness, sadness and smugness. And the fulcrum point here is, and the fulcrum is this sort of this work. It's kind of balanced around work, and it's around judgment and making the right decisions and so forth. All right. Darwin, I hope that helps. And I'm going to finish this off with a page number that I was 28, page 28. That was the one it was for this reading, page 28. This is for all of us, for everyone left present. And then keeping yourself with labor, you are in truth loving life. And to love life through labor is to be intimate with life's inmost secret. But if you in your pain call birth an affliction and the support of the flesh a curse written upon your brow, and I answer, the not but the sweat of your brow shall wash away that which is written. You have been told also that life is darkness, and in your weariness you echo what was said by the weary. And I say that life is indeed darkness, save when there is urge. And all the urge is blind, save when there is knowledge. And all the knowledge is vain, save when there is work. And all the work is empty, save when there is love. And when you work with love, you bind yourself and to one another and to God. This is almost the same message I had for grace. You bind yourself to God through your work. All right. Let's do a message from Mother Mary, and then we'll call this session. We'll close this session out. All right, Mother Mary, a message for the day, for the week, for all those tasks we have upon ourselves that are coming up soon. This is the card. Our Lady of Holy Fire. External sources of love and support may fail us. The soul processes such loss by developing compassion for our humanity while seeking the unconditional support of spirit. You will transform from grief to gratitude even if you are in shock, in denial, or feel betrayed or heartbroken. With Mother Mary's support, your soul is powerful enough to process any betrayal and only grow in love, strength, wisdom, and compassion. And so that is Mother Mary's message for us this week. It's about persevering through darkness. For in a darkness can come a new light. All right. That's all I got for you. Wanted to thank Mr. K. Thank Sculpted Slug. Thank Moon Honey. Thank Saved by Grace. Thank Chinese Disco Babe. Thank Trisha McFalls. And thank everybody else who popped in, pushed the like and sub button. All right. And we'll see you the next time. And so I don't know if I'll be coming on this next week because I have that medical procedure tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. All right. Bye for now. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.